This right here is the future of context engineering. And no, it's not a vector database. It's actually something that has been around for more than a decade. But recently, people are starting to realize its powers when building agentic AI systems, especially when we want to make AI think more like a human. And one example that I'm personally exploring is matchmaking and revealing things two people have in common. This is where graph databases really shine. It gives the AI understanding, like real understanding of relationships. Like for example, Eve Jones enjoys being in the outdoors. So let's take a quick look at this whole graph, which was simply created by just passing all these user messages from these mock data into our ZEP backend. And we can configure that backend with an ontology, which is in some way the schema for graph databases. And for this is actually where the learning happened for me. Here, I had to actually prompt it very, very well to actually produce these nodes and edges. And let's say we are tasked with helping Bob Johnson find a friend, which is the University Superconnector that has this as the backend. It's just a WhatsApp phone call or phone number as well. So I asked Ember, based on what you know about me, who should I meet up with? And Ember recommended me someone who went to Germany for an exchange program, which is where Bob is from. And they also go to Banff for weekly hikes. So let's look at the graph and figure out who exactly is this person and why did they pick that person specifically. Let's look at the hiking entity. Hiking is connected to Bob. As we know, Bob is interested in hiking. But who else? Eve Jones and Alice Smith is as well. But we also see Alice Smith also traveled to Germany. So I'm guessing Ember here is recommending Alice Smith. But why though? Why Alice Smith? Not, for example, Ivy or Eve. They both hike. So one thing is pick up basketball. They both have that in common. There's also computer science. So Bob Johnson, even though he's in mechanical engineering, he is interested in computer science, as this fact is mentioned in here. And guess who's in computer science? Alice Smith. But what else? There's even more. They're taking the same course, CPSC 319. And Alice Smith is looking for a study buddy, as this entity and relationship can reveal. And there's just so much more. And it's not only these two people. As mentioned, there's Eve. There's also taking these option courses, which Alice is taking. There's David who's taking this. There's Frank. So the more this scales, this is just 10 users. All this is just 10 users. The more users start to use this platform, the more rich this becomes and the more powerful it becomes. And unfortunately with vector databases, once they scale, they do not perform that well. There'll be like 20 people that are similar to you in a vector database. And this is exactly where graph databases are better than vector databases. Because once this graph database scales, it gets more rich and more powerful and more useful and more personalized. But for vector databases, it just gets more cluttered. And there's no way to actually know who is like that single one person that I'm actually looking for. Because vector is just number, but graph is an actual relationships with real understanding of things. With that said, graphs are far from putting an end to context engineering. And this is exactly why I'm currently researching with my university all the different techniques of storing data for AI applications, and which one's more efficient, scalable, cost-effective, reliable. You can say this is the first episode, but I'll be doing more as I continue learning and researching this whole field of context engineering. I'll be sharing my learnings both on YouTube, where I also go on live streams as I continue building Ember and researching context engineering. And sometimes I also post it on LinkedIn. So if you're also curious about context engineering and exploring this whole unpredictable field, I'd love for you to follow me and connect with me. In the next episode, I'll be exploring the hybrid option, where we'll both use graph databases and vector databases. But until then, go check out Ember. Let me know your feedback, your thoughts. And with that, stay curious. Chat, look at this. The CEO of Mem0 just connected me on LinkedIn saying, loved your videos in Mission. I'm assuming it's from my live streams, like these 3 live streams that I've been doing for the past week. That's crazy.